Part 5. A Million Little Stars. Wednesday, March 16th, +1 NE. Chapter 12. Shout and cheer. Antony's here. Marcus walked out of the lab and into the soft light of the early evening hour. He could smell the spring blossoms after their afternoon of sunbathing. The air was hot now, a sign of the erratic weather Jordan and his Lyceum co-conspirators blamed on Hecate. The Federation denied involvement, and Marcus believed them. If they could move a planet, they must know what they're doing. His phone vibrated. Antony was calling. "Hey," Marcus began. Where are you?" "I'm walking home from campus. Why?" "I'm standing outside your house," Antony said. "So go inside. I'll be there in 2 minutes." "No one's here, and if I wanted to be inside, I would be." "Time is money," Antony echoed their mother when she was in a hurry. Despite being 19 years older than Marcus, and part of the allegedly apathetic millennial generation, Antony was a poster child of success. He graduated in 5 years with a double major in economics and computer science along with an MBA, but dropped out of law school after their parents' death to assume the role of legal guardian for Marcus. Antony's academic achievements carried into the private sector. He was a thought leader in data science and prided himself in putting the sexy into what Harvard Business Review called the sexiest job of the 21st century. Through innate talent and an unrivaled work ethic, Antony became a begrudgingly respected businessman. People either loved or hated him, but none denied his brilliance. His relationships with Diana and Jordan were examples of this polarizing pattern. Antony had never married, or even dated seriously. He was a remorseless playboy, and Diana despised him for it. But Antony and Jordan bonded through similar tastes in music, a mutual love of drugs, and a shared fascination with extreme sporting. Antony was as much a fill-in father figure to Jordan as he was for Marcus, promising to take both on a grand tour adventure following their sophomore year of college, mere months away. In return, Jordan supplied Antony with cannabis grown in and around his parents' perennially empty mountain home. Jordan wasn't alone in his admiration of Antony. All 1,617 companions of Antony's firm were intensely loyal. He'd adopted their title from Alexander the Great's shock unit, because, like their ancient equivalent, they had the business world under siege. Fast Company characterized Antony as a modern King Midas, and the millennial Henry Ford, since everything he touched turned to gold. But the comparison went further. They also claimed he was crazy. Marcus felt this was a bunk equivalency, since Ford captured his friend Thomas Edison's last breath in a test tube to preserve his soul for reanimation. People thought Antony was nuts because he kept giving away all of his money. The first time he liquidated his wealth, the media wrote it off as a publicity stunt. But when he did it every year after that, they said he was madder than a hatter. Diana wasn't alone in her enmity toward Antony, and the other haters similarly focused on his offensive use of language. This was a machination motivated by his personal heroes, which he collectively called his guardians. The most important of these were Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, Team America, and the Book of Mormon musical, who Antony asserted were the greatest satirists of any generation. Antony also idolized Tyler Durden, the mythical soap maker turned leader of Project Mayhem, for combining two of his personal passions: civil disobedience and fighting. Their maternal grandfather, Cristiano, had taught Antony to box. This eventually led him to another fighting system, Krav Maga, for its simple, effective, and vicious tactics. These attributes resonated with Antony, who lived the heroic code tattooed across his back. "No friend served me, and no enemy wronged me, who I haven't fully repaid." The last of Antony's guardians, and the one that provided his professional persona, was Ari Gold, HBO's pseudo-fictional Hollywood agent. Antony was quick to compliment and slow to criticize if the person showed merit. Otherwise, he was ruthless. He loved being unpredictable and mastered the art of practical jokes on his family. Like Gold, Antony dressed to impress, ensuring he was never not the best-looking person in the room. As Marcus approached his house, he could see Antony leaning against his Tesla in a 3-piece suit. He'd come straight from work. Both brothers inherited the soft Italian beauty of their mother, with an olive complexion, dark hair, and deep brown eyes. Antony was a half-foot shorter than Marcus, but just as handsome and more magnetic. He had arete and octoritas, both words from their father's vocabulary, meaning he had the it factor. Antony noticed Marcus's approach and offered his standard salutation. "Shout and cheer, Antony's here." "It's good to see you," Marcus replied. "Is this my brother?" who's now a member of the world elite? Antony extended his arms, and in a dramatic tone continued his cry to the sky. Is this my blood? Working with the Federation as a representative for all of humanity to save the world. Antony was being dramatic, but genuine. As the brothers embraced, Antony squeezed him harder than a python. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you. You honor our family name. How'd you hear? A little birdie told me, replied Antony, which was code for Jordan. Marcus had to set the record straight. Thanks, but I'm not a member of the cohort yet. I have to survive selection first. Antony leaned back with meme-worthy disbelief. We don't give up, Marcus, ever. If you don't make it this round, you can try again. Sempre avanti. His brother had invoked their family's favorite dictum. Always forward. That's not how it works. I only get one shot. Then don't fuck it up. The fate of the universe is at stake. What are you doing here? Marcus inquired. Antony huddled in close like he was about to say something inappropriate. Want to see me fight? Where, at Krav? No, the black market. At Nereo. Marcus was stunned. Nothing Antony said was adding up. He'd never done a public fight ever. And now he was making his debut on the world's premier fighting circuit? Marcus hadn't been to the black market, but he knew these fights were as intense as they come. When? Why? Tonight. Because it's time to find out if my training's been a good investment. Today was a day of many firsts. Okay, give me 5 to drop off my stuff. No time, I need to get there to register. I want to tell Jordan first. No one's home, I told you that. We need to go, now, Antony said through a frustrated smile. I have to change, 5 minutes. Marcus wouldn't be deterred. While picking clothes, he tried to call Diana, but the ringing went to voicemail. She wasn't ready to talk. Putting her out of mind for the night, Marcus pocketed his lucky coin and returned to find Antony sitting in his car, raring to go. You'll be late for your own funeral. Marcus grinned. Thankfully, that won't be a problem for me. Antony's Tesla was a gift from Elon Musk for solving one of the visionary Starlink satellite constellation data problems when no one else on Earth could. The seatbelt alarm kept dinging. His brother refused to wear it, believing mandatory belt laws increased auto-related fatalities since drivers felt safer, took greater risks, and ended up killing more pedestrians. It was one of the many data-backed examples Antony invoked about government rulemaking run amok. The alarm wasn't stronger than Antony's conviction, but it broke Marcus's. Can we please turn up the music so I don't have to listen to that noise the whole way? Just block it out. I can't. If you don't control your mind, Marcus, who does? I'm not in the mood for one of your philosophical lessons tonight. I need to relax, please. Antony turned up the music as the singer belted a lyric about humanity having 1 foot on the moon and 1 in the cave. The song reminded Marcus of another family dictum. From the stable to the stars. As they wound down the hill from campus, the Wells Fargo Center was towering in the distance. This building was home to Nereo, one of the 4 black market sectors, and where Antony's world would collide with his opponents. Salt Lake was the biggest metropolitan area in the Great Basin, and sociologists described it as having dual identities, the angel and the beehive. The angel was exemplified by the city's temple, once the largest structure in the big field, the original name Mormon settlers gave to the valley. During the last century, the state's pro-business policies gave preeminence to the beehive, the symbol of industriousness. Today, Utah was home to thousands of tech companies, earning the nickname Silicon Slopes. Salt Lake was also home to major financial institutions, all of which hired Antony for his ability to predict their future with data. These transplants competed against Utah's original moneylender, the formerly Mormon church-owned Zion's Bancorp. But Salt Lake was a pioneer of another financial institution, the Industrial Bank, and Antony's companions were at the vanguard of assisting these alternatives to traditional banking. Marcus dialed down the music. How's work? 80% bliss, 20% getting rammed in the ass by a government cactus. If you want to relax, don't get me started. That bad? If there was ever a blatant use of bureaucracy as one group's hammer, this is it. So what you're saying, Marcus asked, is you're their nail? There's never been a single industrial bank failure in this state, but every alphabet agency is trying to regulate them out of existence or force them to fit the mold the Darrow family has crafted. It won't work. They function on different principles. Like? The first industrial banks loaned money based on personal recommendations, not collateral. That's radically different. People used to care about their reputation. A person is only as good as their word, Marcus. How does the Darrow family fit in? You don't build a banking monopoly without scratching the balls of government. Benedict Darrow's family knows how to play the game. Lobbying? That's the PR version. Real power comes from hiring former regulators to win government bids and avoid compliance costs. That's got to be illegal. Marcus's naivety was showing. Nope. It happens so much that it's got a name, regulatory capture. And the Darrow family are the Jackson 5 of it. Without fail, when our paths cross, Benedict is sitting on the same side of the table as the government agents. There is Hammer. And you have to work with him? Dealing with the Darrows is an inevitability. Their hands are in everything, pharmaceuticals, shipping, media, financial institutions. That's the thing about money, Marcus. Once you have it, it's infinitely easier to make more. But Techmart took it to a whole new level for Benedict. Will we see it? Marcus was noticeably excited. You can't enter the black market without walking right by it. Can I ask you something, since you work with the government so much? Anything, Antony assured. Do you think they've been conspiring with the Federation? Even before everyone's disclosure moment? Jordan's in your head about selection. We talked about it in class today. Bill challenged Jordan's claim that the Federation is responsible for all the social instability, but he didn't deny it's happening. He agreed it's real. Who does Bill think is behind it, then? The Confederation, answered Marcus. He said they've been inciting fear through government and media for a very long time. Deep state, Antony muttered, as if to himself. What? I don't know who's ultimately pulling the strings, but I have zero doubt it's going on, Antony explained. That's what power does. It sows dissent, envy, and hate. It divides and conquers to keep expanding, everywhere and always. Marcus was silent. Are you doubting your decision to start selection because you're worried Jordan is right and it's the Federation's fault? He never shuts up. Marcus laughed nervously. What is your intuition telling you? That the Federation is the key to our survival? Then let go of fear and trust yourself, Antony encouraged. Speaking of fear, Marcus pivoted. Are you nervous about fighting? No. How long have you been planning this? A couple months, why? Antony asked. I'm trying to figure out if this was one of your impulsive decisions. They're instantaneous decisions, and this one was carefully crafted. What's going through your head right now? Something Dad said. He told me not to be a punk, that I should never look for a fight, but if one found me, I needed to be the person to end it. He told me that too, Marcus empathized. When? After I got in a fight at elementary school? Right, Antony roared with laughter. It isn't often that a kindergartner bashes another kid's head into a wall. I was standing in line to get my graduation gown when Dad called and told me about it. Didn't you become friends with that kid? For a minute, but then we moved to Sundance. Do you even remember why you were fighting? Every single detail up until I blacked out. Remember the summer we went to San Francisco? I can still smell the fried food mixing with the stench of sea lions on that pier, Antony reminisced. Pier 39, Marcus clarified. I had a rock collection from the Exploratorium I brought for show and tell. When I got off the bus, this kid smacked it out of my hands. I remember watching it shatter and getting angry. He kept laughing at me, calling me names. I snapped, going into blackout mode from pure rage. I remember the blood running down his forehead and nose when I woke up from it. He was a textbook bully and got what he deserved. You don't have to convince me, sic semper tyrannis. What made you think about Dad right now? Antony was somber. Mom and Dad have been on my mind all week. Me too. I don't think tonight is what he meant. I know, Antony said with conviction. The personnel face wants to be there, just like me. Have you been to a black market fight? Not in person. Antony stopped the car at Main and East Broadway. The Wells Fargo Center stood like a sentinel over them. Frenzied anti-Federation posters choked the sidewalk surrounding the building. Despite sharing the same enemy as Jordan, even he thought these people were zealots. The coalition bussed protesters in since the Mormon Church's official policy was cooperation with the Federation, making local outrage talent scarce. Marcus loved reading protesters' signs. As they waited for the light to change, he indulged. The Federation is the devil. PSAs are the tool of the occupiers. The Federation is Hitler reincarnated. Tech equals Mark of the Beast equals 666. Justice finds all Federation allies. Hey, that one's talking about you, said Antony. How do we get up there, to Nerio? Everyone has to go through the black market. How? The black market is a mile from here. In your mind's eye, Antony explained. Picture the old Gateway Mall. Remember the clock tower by the splash pad fountain? Yeah. At the base of the tower is a door. It takes you to the rooftop club exactly 422 feet above us. Antony pointed skyward. So you've been there? Asked Marcus. No. I've been to the other 3 sectors of the black market, but never stepped foot in Nerio. This will be a first for both of us. The light changed, and Antony burned rubber, sending a toxic blue cloud wafting over the mob of coalition protesters.